disclosure. Okay, this is whatever we are doing. This is purely education. Education at the same time. Okay, whatever we are discussing, okay, you have to take your own discretion to decide before you initiate the trade. Okay, and also what I strongly recommend is for those of you, for newbies, of course, you can just follow the system. You can just follow the signals and you can just play the game or trade accordingly. But for those of you who have some experience, who are already into the field for quite some time, okay, what you should be doing is basically, I think I did tell you before, it's like have a diary, have a proper record of all the trades you are doing. And of course, when I said, even if you're following, for those people, for the newbies who are coming in, you key in the trade and you just follow the signals, but sometimes you decide to close the trade and you have to write it down, so that you will learn from your mistakes and you try to change your character or attitude. Because see, basically what the biggest problem or biggest hurdle in this business is it's emotion. Okay, emotion is the most killing factor. Even though you can have a fantastic knowledge, you can have a fantastic system, but the emotion part, sometimes when you want to take your entry, you have to decide and you have to learn to control. Okay, another tips I can give you, to have a successful trading is, okay, always remember before you initiate a trade, ask yourself what is the target and what is the stop loss. Okay, these two factors you need to identify first. Then your entry can be on staggered basis. So what I'm trying to tell you is, that means you have to predefine or predetermine the risk reward ratio. That means, if I get stopped out, okay, what is the amount I tend to lose or how much I lose? On the other hand, if I make money, okay, if I make money, how much is it? How much I make? The same thing, the risk reward must be on practice at least 1:1 or at least close to 1. Okay, what do I mean by that? That means, see, if your reward, if your risk is like, let's say you lose 40 pips, then your reward must be at least 40 pips or at least close to, or maybe 30 pips. Not like, you make 10 pips, then you lose 40 pips. That shouldn't be the way. And also, whatever we do, okay, we have a reason for everything we do. Because, like as I said, we have been in the industry for, in fact, I've been in the industry for more than 25 years. So there's a lot of ups and downs I've seen in my lifetime, and a lot of things which I do. And the certain things we do are specifically to control the emotions at all times, because that's the biggest culprit, and that's the biggest factor, in order for you to be successful in this trade. Okay, now let's proceed. Okay, now, in fact, now see, we have 5 types of signals, and in fact, for those of you who have been following us, I've been telling you, okay, always uh, have a plan. Have a plan before you initiate the trade. Like for instance, let's say you are going for a day trading. Okay, your day trading is, let's say your reward is, let's say about 80 pips or 100 pips. That means your price target is 100 pips. Then your stop loss is 40 pips. And this is a day trading. So always remember that you need to give ample time for the trade to work its way out. What do I mean by that? That means, see, like you cannot expect a trade initiating, then this is day trading, and you have a game plan that your reward should be between 80 to 100 pips. And let's assume, in between the market moved up, that because the market always moves zigzag. Zigzag meaning, it moves up, then comes down, moves up, comes down, so on and so forth. So then what will happen is all of a sudden you feel that, this is not do that. Probably you want to exit with 10, 20 pips profit. Then eventually when the breakout happens, then you lose 60 pips which you are supposed to make. So that is also a good method of having a plan before the market, before you enter the trade. Okay, now we look at the key events today. In fact, tonight, in fact, this FOMC minutes. Okay, let me show you the screen. Where's the calendar? Okay. In fact, tonight, the data, in fact, Japan is on holiday today, and the Aussie, the data was good. And in fact, the Aussie, we were in the trade, and we know whether we took profit or not, but we were right in expecting this Aussie dollar moving up. So, and tonight we have GDP, US GDP, pending home sales, crude oil inventories, and we have FOMC statement and Fed interest rate decision and Fed press conference. So tonight is a lot of important data that is out tonight. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if even the US may slash the interest to zero, which if they do, then probably it might be a shock to the market, and you can expect a lot of activities happening. But on the other hand, if they don't do anything, unless the press conference, they surprise the market or something by saying, then you can expect some big movement. So that is the thing. So overall is, if when this kind of news is out, okay, how you would be trading is, okay, especially if you're a scalper, you don't want to take the risk, then what you can do is you can exit before the announcement or before the data is out. But on the other hand, if you are a day trader or swing trader, so you need this kind of event to give you a good returns or a good profit. So you need to take that kind of risk during that movement or during that time. So what you got to do is, of course, you got to manage your risk. You got to play the game by the rules, and you uh, uh, stay calm and steady, right? Okay, now let's look at, let me give you some trade signals now. Then after that, we can discuss on some live trades. Okay, in fact, pound has moved this morning. Euro has moved this morning. Aussie has moved. Canadian dollars has moved, and New Zealand dollars. So overall is we are seeing a dollar weakness today. Okay, but that is happening. So this dollar weakness is happening mainly because of this data announcement. The market feels that they may surprise the market, or is already been discounted. Discounted means, the whatever is the market, the interest rate is already factored in. So only after the news is out, then only we would know whether it's already been factored or is going to move after that. Okay, now let's trade. Okay, what I can give you is, okay, we can look to buy Aussie. Aussie dollar, we look to sell. Okay, let me Aussie, CAD, and New Zealand. These three.
Okay. You want to change your screen?
Yeah. I'm going to change. Thanks. So what? Okay, like as I said, before you initiate the trade, what we got to do is we got to determine our entry, not entry, our target and stop loss. Then we go on to the entry. So let's look at Aussie. Looking at the Aussie, let me, in fact, Aussie, it's the time control. Okay, what we are looking at is, is a weekly. So monthly, there will be a resistance. So weekly is in control. So what we got to do is we got to go into the weekly chart and have an idea where is the target. So the target we are looking at is around, based on the chart, we are looking at around 66.60. 66.60, that's our target. And let me double confirm with the system. Looking at 66.60. I'm looking at, yeah. So 66.60. So that means I want to exit around 66.35. So that means 66.35 is our target for this trade. And right now is trading at 65.35. 65, you see this about 65.40. So we have another 100 pips. So on the other hand, we need to identify the stop loss. Okay, the stop loss is, I'm looking at uh, two types of stop. That means one is the conservative and one is the standard stop loss. So if I'm going to have a conservative, that means I got to, maybe we put below today's low, which is 64.85. And standard stop loss, I would want to put around 64.40. Okay, let me also double confirm with my system. Okay, looking at this stop loss 64.40. Yeah, I think 64.50, 64.40 looks good. And okay, let's play this game. Let me give you a call. Now we decide on the entry. Entry, we want to enter around 65.10. Okay, 65.10. And also how we can play this game is, okay, this is, you want to fight for the news or you want to exit before the news. So if you're fighting for the news, then I would want to wait until 66.30. If I want to exit before the news, then probably I want to exit around 65, 55 or 65.70. So based on this, okay, I conclude that I want to enter this trade. Okay, this is probably you want to go, one is a scalping and one is a day trading. Okay, what we do is the scalping, limit buy. Okay, I'm not getting the live price here. Okay, never mind. So we enter one lot, and what we do is we try to enter at 65.10. Okay, 65.10. And my stop loss, remember I told you, is 64.85. So anywhere below 64.85, we put a stop, maybe 64.80. And this trade, I want to exit at 65.50 or 65.60. So 65.50, then I make about 40 pips. Then my risk is about 30 pips, and I think it's worth trading. So then this expiry is, I want to do it until end of the time belt, which is 17 Singapore time. So India time is about 2:30. So this is going to be my scalping trade, and my day trading is the same thing. I would try to pick in lower, but this one is I got to fight for the news. News means that means maybe I'll hold it end of the day. So that one, what we can do is we can try to enter that one. The stop loss I want to put at 64.35. Okay, 64.35, and my entry is near the low, which is 64.85 is the low. So probably we want to enter at 64.85, and I want to exit. Remember, I want to exit before 66.30, because that is 66.30 was my target. 66.30, 66.60. So definitely I want to exit before that. So what I would want to do is that probably I want to exit at 66 or 66.20, you know, whichever way you want to put it, and you just monitor the trade. So again, so this is, we can put in until end of the day. So that means until tomorrow morning, or even tomorrow morning before the market close. Market close, you put maybe 4. Okay, so this would be my one trade, which I feel that this is a trade setup and is a potential trade for the thing. But another thing you need to understand about this trade is, in the event if our entry is missed or we didn't get this entry, but it hit our target, that means it hit our target maybe 65, 70 or even 66, then we got to cancel this trade, or you got to face this trade. So that's the thing you have to understand, because the reason is, see, we are expecting the price to spike up, and if it has already happened, then we have missed the trade, then we have to face that trade or cancel the trade. But on the other hand, if the target is not reached, then we can still go on with this trade. Okay, now let's look at another trade. Another trade is I want to trade New Zealand dollar. Okay, New Zealand dollar looks again, this is also the time control is on the weekly. So New Zealand dollar weekly. So now what we do is we need to know our target. So we need to know our target, then we decide whether we want to enter this trade. So New Zealand, it looks a bit tricky. Okay, let me show you the chart. Unlike Aussie. So if you look at New Zealand, okay, right now it is in a congestion. So if it breaks 61.40 or 61.50, then the price may move higher towards 62. Okay, otherwise, this would be in a range. If it breaks that, then probably we can even see about 62.40 or even 63.10. Okay, this is New Zealand. Okay, but let me show you the Aussie. See the difference between Aussie and New Zealand. You see, this is Aussie is much stronger than New Zealand. Yeah, how we are able to gauge it is because it is trading above the range, above the congestion. So this is stronger. Okay, let's see one more thing. Maybe Canadian dollars. See, Canadian dollars is also in the range. So now, okay, then we still trade on New Zealand. So the New Zealand is the condition we need to see is we need to monitor closely. We need to see the price breaking at least 61.40 and 61.50. Then it may head towards 62.40. Otherwise, it is going to be in a range. So it is going to be a bit risky on if you are holding on to the trade, but scalping is worth taking. Okay, scalping is still worth taking, and we got to exit before 61.10. Okay, let me double confirm with the system. See, all we have to do is see the beauty of our system is we can decide what to do, within a minute. So within a minute, we can decide what we want to do, where we want to enter, where we want to exit. All this can be done, within a matter of minute. So here, Aussie, I told you, sorry, the Kiwi is here. I told you I want to exit at 61.40 because that is where our target is also. So we have a support at 60.70 and 60.60. So what we do is our stop loss should be below the today's low is 47, maybe below that, which is maybe we put at 60.30 or 60.40, and our entry is 60.70. Okay, and our take profit is this is a scalping trade. Again, this is a limit buy. One lot. Yeah, our entry is right now the market is trading at 60.90, right? So what we will do is we will try to pick it up around 60.70 or 60.75. Okay, maybe try to do at 60.75. Stop loss is below 60, below the today's low. Today's low is 60.47, and exit is definitely I want to exit before 61.40. So since this is remember, the so-called major barrier at 61.40. So normally, see, always remember, normally when we place a stop loss, okay, this is one of the rules in our trading system and in trading. What you should do is you must always place your stop for the level that you do it in such a way that you don't get stopped out. That means you place it away from the low or away from the high. And always remember, you always put your take profit level such a way that you have to be below the high or above the low or basically below the resistance or above the support. Basically, you want to book your profit. You don't want to get stopped. So that is how you play the game in a very without emotion controlling and the confidence level at at always. So again, this is our entry. So this would be our another call. So the next, if you want, I can give you, I can keep on giving more orders, but unless you all want to discuss some markets, I can discuss and we'll do. See, another thing also, do take note that what we will do is maybe in future we'll try to change our webinar time. So that means maybe that we'll change the time, then we can do some market trades rather than we give you the so-called, the entry level, because what has happened is the market has already moved because we are into the second time belt, and the second time belt is already more than going to be about three and a half hours. So what we will do is we'll try to change the time, we'll try to do it in such a way that the time belt fits. Then we will do live trades. That means we trade at the market, then we can trade together. Then I'll guide you how to manage the trade. That means in the event, if it goes, what we should be doing against, and if it's going in our favor, what we should be doing. All this I can guide you and show you. Okay, now let me give you one more signal. Then maybe we can discuss on some live markets. This is yes. The next I see Sing dollar. Sing dollar is worth trading now. Okay, Sing dollar. Let me see Sing. Sing dollar. I don't think the move is that much. Let me see. Weekly. Yeah, it's weekly. I think this can be traded. Okay. Let's see dollar Sing. Okay. I need to do the target first, then the stop loss, then I decide on the entry. Okay, the target I'm looking at is 14105. 14105. And the stop loss I'm looking at is around 4180. Okay, 4180. So now it's trading at 4140. So we have 40 pips move. And let me double confirm with the system. Okay, 4105, 4185. Okay, good. Okay, we can trade this. So what we will do is we'll try to enter at 4160. Okay, right now is 4140. Then again, this is a scalping entry. So it's 4160. Stop loss is above 85. So probably we can put 90. And my take profit is, remember I said 4105. So probably I may want to exit at 4120. So I have a 40 pips and risk is about 30 pips. So I think it's worth taking the trade. And this is again until 17 hours. So see, another way also for those of you who feel, who want to trade, because see, this is, of course, we are suggesting, we are recommending, this is how we trade and this is how we do things. You can do, because if you are able, you are sitting in front of the screen and you are able to trade and you don't want to miss. See, what we can do is you can go on staggered basis. So that means what you can do right now is 141.45. So maybe what you do is you enter half lot at 141.50, then another half or another one at this level. So what will happen is you still have some trade to manage and you will still be in the trade and you will still be keep on trading. So that will be another method you can apply, because usually when we give the target and the stop loss, see, these two are the fixed component, that means you cannot change this. So you can play the game in between. That means you don't want to miss the entry. So what you can do is you may want to enter half lot. That means if let's say you enter 10,000, so probably you may want to enter 5,000 at this. So at least you make 20 pips, there is also that there's some money is made out of that trade. You don't have to waste time. You're sitting in front of the trade and you're monitoring. Of course, if you don't have time to monitor, let's say you are working or you are doing something else, then the safest thing is you can just place this order. Then you just wait. If the order is filled, then you can manage. If it's not filled, then probably it will cancel. Then you have to do it. So this is also another suggestion. See, there are different ways of approaching the trade game, because all in all, because fundamentally, end of the day, you have to remember that it's all about risk control and risk management. So how do you want to plan it? How do you want to do it? It's up to you to decide and up to you to apply. Okay. So any questions now? Feel free now. You have any questions or you want to discuss on any market. And also, I did tell you before that, when you come for the live trading, please, if you also want to discuss on any previous trades, you may also do so. So write it down, just have a proper record of all the trades you have. So any doubts you want to clarify, this is the time you can clarify and discuss, so we can benefit as a group. Any questions or any markets you all want to discuss?
Hello, sir. Mohan here. Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, yes, sir. Sir, I went through your website where you are giving this as 360 strongest and weakest, and then best crosses like that. So actually, when we see the numbers that you are reading, like 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So how we can see it? Or like, okay, sometimes we don't know. Maybe that is a 1 at 6 a.m. But when I come at okay, I'm seeing at 8:30. In that time also it may be 1, but if I trade in that point, so still I will get the expected at least expected margin, or it won't be like it will change like that. How it will be? Like I just want to know how long it will be valid, that when we see the best crosses to trade.
See, and the thing is, the best way is, of course, I know what's your question you're asking, but the thing is, see, you have to understand our system. Okay, the best way is you have to attend the workshop, then you learn. Because see, our system is like I keep saying again and again, it's a very unique method. And this is just like you are beginning to use a tool without reading the manuals. So the best way is like, you come and attend the workshop, and then, you join us, then we will train you. But overall, I can just tell you some indication is how you use this is called the strongest and weakest. So when it says 1, that means this is the best cross to trade now at the moment. Okay. And 2 is the next second one, 3 is followed by the third, fourth, so on, so forth, and until 8. So on this here, right now is saying Aussie is the best cross. That means Aussie is the best. And when you put your cursor here on the right, when you see the best cross to trade here, is showing pound Aussie and euro Aussie are the best. That means basically showing in red, that means you should be selling pound Aussie, you should be selling euro Aussie. So this is a simple step and a simple rule of the game. But the tricky part is because this is live, that means this keep changing on live prices. So now it's not as simple as, you think that, it's just show one, we try to go in the trade and we go and sell. But when the market starts to move in the opposite direction, then this will disappear, then another cross will come in, because this keep changing on live markets. So to understand the full utilization of this, then you have to attend the course and you have to learn from us. Then that's the only way we can. And this is, see, all these tools you see, this is mainly for professional traders. Okay, professional traders. Even the dashboard, you see it. Just now I showed you, it's like okay, you see all this. Is there is a specific way to approach it. So this is mainly for full-time traders, professional traders. Then they want to go on their own. They want to decide on their own. This is useful for them. See, like for instance, let's say I give you Aussie. Just now I told you, I gave you an Aussie to take profit at $66. So if you look at here, $66, 66 is somewhere here, 66.10, is a resistance zone 4. It's here, resistance zone 4. It's somewhere here. So what happens is if the market starts to move up, sometimes you see the price struggling. So instead of you exiting at here, you may want to exit at 65.90 or even 65.70. So this is mainly for professional traders, full-time traders who wants to change the levels. That means basically adjusting the stop loss and adjusting the price target. And in the event they want to trade on their own, sometimes we don't give signals. They may want to trade on their own. So those is mainly for those people, right? So for newbies, for who are coming, just started learning and all these things, I wouldn't advise you to go into all this because it will totally jeopardize, meaning you totally get confused how to use it and all. So the best way is, of course, you have to follow us. Then you go on slowly learning the tools one by one. Each and every tool has got his advantage and the disadvantage. Even we call it a trend report. So trend report is all mainly for professional traders. So they look at it, they study they'll tell you. See, like right now, okay, maybe I'll show you the Aussie again, so that'll be much easier rather than I get. So if you look at Aussie, so here it says the hourly is sideways plus. That means it's pointing up. Daily is congestion up. Weekly is turning up. So overall, is all time frame are saying is pointing up. So that is an indication that we should be looking to buy and we should be buying. And all these levels here also got a meaning, specific meaning, and also tells you whether is it above the previous week, above the previous. In fact, the current week high is 65.15. That means right now the market is trading at the current week high. In fact, above the current week high. That means what the market is telling us is the market is moving higher. So it's even trading above current month high. Current month high. That means current week and current month, is showing high. So overall is breaking new high. That means it's moving higher. That means we should be holding this trade for a buy. So all this, that's why I said there's a lot of tools we have fully meant for professional traders, including bankers, fund managers, and all these people. So we also provide services to all newbies also. So it's up to you to learn. You have to go stage by stage, learn that entire process, then do it with confidence and comfort. In fact, before I forget, tomorrow we have a workshop. Tomorrow I think we have a workshop for those of you who are interested. You can join in. I mean, of course, it's not free. You got to pay $199, but that is worth the money. That is worth the money, and you would be getting more than what you are paying for. So this is tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is 30th. Yeah, correct. 4:30 Indian Standard Time, and Singapore time is about 7. And these are the tools these are the topics we cover. So we clearly tell you, this is what we are going to do. So you would know what you're going to learn, and of course, first time you learn, it might be a bit confusing, but you keep practicing again and again and again. Then eventually you would understand what we are trying to explain and what we are trying to show you. Okay. Any questions or any other questions?
I want to discuss one more market, that is Euro CAD actually.
EuroCAD. Yeah. What is it you want to know? You tell me.
Euro CAD, if I'm just seeing the chart in the 1 hour chart, it's the major support, looks like major support. So can we go for a buy?
Okay. Now, Leo Joseph. Okay. Now,
Yes.
you have been in the trade for how long? How long? How many years have you been in the trade?
Probably 1 year.
1 year. Okay.
Yeah.
Because the reason why I'm asking is, see, when you trade crosses, you got to understand certain things. Okay. Like for instance, basic thing. That means, like for instance, when you buy EuroCAD. Okay. Let's assume you want to buy EuroCAD. See, when you expect the EuroCAD to go high, okay, what do you expect? Okay, first thing is you must know that either the euro should strengthen or the Canadian dollar should weaken. If either one happens, then EuroCAD will go high. You agree with me, or do you understand
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. Exactly.
You understand, right? So
Yes.
when you trade crosses, so you need to look at these two crosses. The probability is either euro should strengthen, CAD should be either flat or weak, or the other way around is euro should be flat or flat, then Canadian dollar should weaken, then only euro CAD will go up. So now that's the basic thing you need to understand. Now let me go into our system, then I'll tell you what is the status of EuroCAD. You look at EuroCAD. We need to understand what is the time control. So certain words I use. Okay, for those of you who are newbies, okay, maybe you may not understand, but as we go on, as you keep following me, then you gradually you will understand what do I mean by that. Okay, now we look at EuroCAD. The time control right now is week is flat, month is flat, daily is down. Okay, in fact, daily is down. Okay, week is flat. Okay, week is flat. So that means what I'm expecting to see on the chart is I should be in a congestion on the daily. That's what I expected to see. Okay, so when I say congestion means this is what I meant by congestion. I hope you can see my marking. Okay, never mind. So you see, this is in a congestion. So the probability of this trade is if it breaks lower, that means if it breaks this low, I'm expecting the price to go lower. If this low holds, then I expect to see in the congestion. Okay, this is what I expect to see. So now your question is, should we buy? Okay, again, if you buy, okay, you can say that purely this trade would not be a so-called day trading or swing trading, whatever. So that means you do a hit and run. That means you only do a scalping trade. You don't do buy and hold. Definitely you're asking for trouble because I don't expect the price to go above this level. So it should be in a congestion until it breaks out of the range. So maybe we look at 6-hour chart. Okay, 6-hour chart, it looks like it's going to break. Okay, and also from trading experience, try not to do whatever you trade on what you see. We see that it's going to break, but it doesn't tell you that it's breaking. So you don't go for a sell, assuming it's going to break better to wait after the breakout and do, or you go in the opposite direction. So now, how would I trade? So if I want to trade, I think it's worth trading. That means I try to buy near the low, okay, which is 15110, but I put a very tight stop. That means below maybe 15070. Then I would want to exit before 15170. So that means my risk reward will be only about 50 pips. That means my reward will be 50 pips and my stop loss will be not more than 30 pips. But all I know is I'm not going to get a very big return or a very big move on this market for a buy. But on the other hand, for a sell, if this low breaks and if it goes and closes below this low, then I do expect this market to go at least minimum, I would say minimum is 49.80. That means another 130 pips move. 130 pips to between I would say 90 pips, 90 to 130 pips move. So this is my view. That means if it breaks, I expect to go towards 150 or even 150.40. If it doesn't break, then I expect it to be in a congestion or consolidation until the break happens. So knowing today's data is out, and in fact tomorrow is euro interest rate announcement. So I don't expect any big move on this market. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Yeah. Any any other questions or any other markets you all want to discuss? Anyone? You have to see, like again, see, this is we only have this session, twice or thrice a week. So I'm sure you're those guys who are newbies who are trading, putting in the account. I'm sure you have some problems. You put in trade, something goes wrong or what. You can also clarify. This is the time you can discuss and you can clarify your doubts, and at least you can make use of the time.
Sir, again, Mohan here. Sir, one doubt, like you are mentioning about like when you are giving the signals, you are mentioning putting the time like up to 2:30 p.m. India time, like or 5 p.m. India time, something like that. Okay, but when we are placing the trade in the tool or something like demo forms like that, but actually there the time inputs is not there. So which means that we need to track it till the time, and then we have to exit from like we have to delete that signal or we delete that trade. How we need to do it also.
Sorry, I didn't get your question. So basically, what you're saying is why you're keying in the time, is it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. See, the reason why we are keying in the time is because, see, every day, okay, we give signals on almost like 40 overcrosses, and every day we generate about, I would say minimum, I would say between 30 or sometimes even 80 to 100 signals. See, what has happened is, so if you don't put an expiry time, what will happen is, if you have to manually go and cancel the trades. That is very troublesome and very tedious. And on the other hand, okay, what we practice is, see, always remember, we are trading price against time. So this is the time and this is price. So we have to take these two factors into consideration in order for us to get a quality results. So that's what we practice, and that's the reason why we do give expiry time and date, so that at least we are taking the time into consideration. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
So this here, so the extension of the same question, actually the time frames. Let's say when the US market opens, then only you can trade the. It's very good to just general question I'm asking is whether the US market opens, we have to trade in the US for scalping trades.
See, for even the scalping, what we do is for US markets, we see how we work is Singapore time, 5 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 17 or 17 hours and 23 hours and followed by 5 o'clock. That's how we have designed the system and that's how we work. So when you come into US session, then it comes into the third and fourth time belt. That means it comes after 17 hours or 23 hours. So that time belt, you have to key in the orders and you have to manage the trade within that time belt. Is it clear what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's fine. So, so you mean to say you should not extend the trade when the US market is closed? Then you should also close the whatever is open or open trade.
See, basically, scalping is done in such a way. See, that is our recommendation. Okay, that is our recommendation because we close the trade on a specific time belt is finished. That's what we recommend. But on the other hand, if you are monitoring the trade and if you want to extend it, maybe you give another 1 hour or 2 hours for the trade to get filled, you may do so. But that is not. I'm not saying don't do that, but what we recommend is try to book, especially when the market is in a congestion. Okay, I'll show you why I'm saying this. Okay, I'll show you one example. Then maybe you would understand what I'm. Okay, let's assume EuroCAD. Okay, let's assume EuroCAD. We are still in the trade. Okay, now the thing is EuroCAD. It's in a congestion on. Okay, so this is see right now this is it is in a congestion on even a 6-hour chart. So let's assume you buy. Okay, let's assume you buy. What will happen is the reason why we are telling you to close this trade when the time belt is finished is so you buy here. You should either close your trade here or here. Okay, I'm not expecting the market should be in congestion and eventually either should break down or either should break up. Okay, that I wouldn't know. That is market should give us an answer. But right now as it is, okay, there is a very high probability that is going to break down, but it's not broke. It's not broken down, so at least we should monitor the trade. So the reason why we are telling you to close the trade is let's assume you bought here and let's assume you don't trade, you don't close your trade here. What will happen is whatever the profits you make here, the next time belt, when it starts to come down, then whatever your profits you should evaporate or you should give it back to the market because until you book the profit. Because this in a congestion, unless if it's in a trending mode, uptrend or downtrend, then it's a different different ball game. So for congestion is this is what you should be doing and this is what we practice and that is the reason why we are doing it in scalping and we recommend you to close the trade on a within the time belt. Is that clear?
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah, it's clear, sir.
So now I think you understand. See, as I said, anything you ask, of course, we have to give you a reason and we have to give you an explanation. Then only you would be able to understand and you should be able to follow. So the reason why I've given is because this is in a congestion. So the best thing is once you reach, and don't be very optimistic to see the price unless you know you call it a medical miracle or something happens, then only you can expect the price to go up. Otherwise, I don't expect this market to. I mean, I only expect the market to be in this congestion until it's a clear break up or break down. So until then, I don't see anything happening. And right now, euro and Canadian dollars are both moving in the same direction. So I don't see any big movement happening. Okay. Okay. Any other question? If not, then we can end the session, and I'll see you next week, because Friday we don't have any live trading because of May Day. So we'll have it next week. Okay. So if no question, okay, once again, thank you for coming into this room, and hope to see you again next week. I think should be next Monday. I think next Wednesday. Okay. So in the meantime, I think you can just follow the signals and just carry on with the trade and manage the trade, and please, you know, for newbies who are coming in, please, you know, you have a book, record down, then at least you learn. And also for those of you who have registered for the workshop tomorrow, so I expect to see you again tomorrow for the workshop. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.